At the core of AmCham Denmark's mission is representing international businesses here in Denmark. In our 12 years, this representation has grown to nearly 300 companies with businesses of every size and industry sector. The majority of our member companies have built their competitive edge on the basis of Denmark's innovative environment, industrial centers of excellence, and supply of human capital. Foreign-owned companies in Denmark continue to be an important factor in creating jobs and wealth in Denmark. Recently, Denmark has fallen out of the top 10 in the World Economic Forum's Competitiveness Index. Now, maybe 12th place sounds not too bad in a Jutland sense or something, but in my opinion, 12th is not going to cut it in the long term. The question is, how do we make it more attractive for all companies, both Danish and foreign, to invest more here in Denmark?
While you account for 1% of the companies in Denmark, you are responsible for 20% of the private sector's employment and for 23% of the turnover in the private sector. You are an important part not only to the business environment in Denmark, but also to the Danish society, and you absolutely make a key contribution to the prosperity of this country. General framework conditions are important, and although Denmark is doing quite well in the international benchmark, we will continue to work with areas such as competition, the supply of labor, education, and access to finance. Areas of great importance if Denmark wants to continue to being an attractive place for companies to invest, develop, and produce.
I'm kind of tired, I'll be honest with you. I'm tired about hearing about China. I'm tired about India. I'm tired about Russia, the BRICS, the emerging markets. And I would just lay out to you that it's very important that the United States and Europe, collectively and individually, get their act together sooner rather than later, because the developing countries aren't ready for prime time. They're not ready to carry us forward. They're not going to make us richer, more prosperous, give our kids good futures. We have to do it ourselves. There's a new competitive force out there that Denmark has to be aware of when it comes to attracting foreign direct investment, when it comes to competing. And I'll just put it this way. The next China is the United States. The United States is undergoing a corporate revolution when it comes to energy, leveraging information technology. We're in the midst of a manufacturing renaissance. Our manufacturing costs have come down dramatically across the country. So you, Denmark, you're not necessarily competing against, say, Estonia, where I just was yesterday, or other parts of the EU for U.S. capital. You're competing more and more against Alabama, South Carolina, Ohio, Washington State. Because the United States is rebooting, is resetting. We are the next China in the sense that we're going to be an exporting, manufacturing powerhouse leading the way. So I'll just end by kind of throwing that out there as a kind of a caveat. I don't think many of you have heard that, but it's a very powerful trend and one that I want you to be aware of. I'll just end by saying Europe matters. U.S. companies are here for the long term. This is a big, huge market. I wish Europe would kind of do a better job branding itself. And it's hard to brand yourself in a crisis. But when you look at the numbers in themselves, in an absolute sense, they're very powerful. Relative to the emerging markets, the story gets even better and better. We're not dreaming big enough anymore between the United States and Europe. The bar is too low. We don't expect much from each other anymore. And I think that's kind of the danger. Because I'll end by saying, if we're going to rely on the developing economies for our future, we're in trouble. So we should take our own fate in our own hands and get moving. So with that, I'll stop. Thank you very much.
So let me just leave you with a short list of key recommendations from our side. Number one, AmCham must commit to making foreign investments a long-term governmental priority. Number two, create a national talent strategy linked closely to Denmark's investment strategy. Ensure stability, consistency, and predictability in corporate tax legislation. Quit changing the rules. Really simple. With that, thank you for your attention and have a great day. See you next year.